Well, while we're getting ready for the colors, I would just like to welcome everyone. My name is Pat Thomas. I'm the Director of Public Works for the City of Temecula, and I'd like to welcome you here this morning for the dedication and opening of our new Roundabout. Okay, now we'll call for the colors.
Hello, everybody. My name is Juanita Koth, and I'm the president of the Temecula Equine Riders and the team coach for the Temecula Cowgirl Color Guard, who's presenting colors today. Where is Marianne? She'll be singing the national anthem shortly. We hope that you'll all be watching for us at the Rose Parade. We just found out we were accepted to that in August. I just wanted to point out today that my daughter, Jamie, who is our 5th rider here, she's carrying a Richie's Diner flag that actually says in memory of Jack Williams. Our team and our club has so appreciated Linda and Jack for all that they have done and their family for the local equestrian community. And as Linda just told me, Jack would have been the most excited one here with this dedication for sure. So he's so special to us, and thank you so much for this honor inviting us to be here. And now Marianne, we'll see.
Well, would you please join me this morning as we stand here beside Jack's Circle, because you know that's what it's going to end up being called, is Jack's Circle. And join me in singing our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, we love you, Jack.
All right, that was awesome, Marianne. Thank you. Now we've got a few other people that wanted to make some comments here for you this morning about our roundabout. And first of all, I'd like to introduce our mayor, Mike Nagar.
Well, hey there, hi there, ho there. Okay. Anybody who knew Jack knew that greeting, okay? And he was always so glad to give it as well. First, some things I wanted to open up with, some thanks. Regarding the roundabout, I wanted to thank Tony and Amir DeBorzorgi, who did the development known as the Gateway Center. And one thing that has been very nice about Tony and Amir is when they came into town, they made it real clear they wanted to be part of the community. And part of the community they have. They haven't disappeared. They've come out here regularly. They're here today. Raise your hand. And they made a significant financial contribution to getting the roundabout done. And of course, the Los Ranchitos Homeowners Association, they also made a significant contribution. I know I saw Jeff Thomashefsky. Where are you, Jeff? Who else is here from the association? You recognize? Raise your hand. There's Josh. I see Josh. Way back there. Hi. Good to see you. And thanks for everything you folks did. And of course, us at the City of Temecula, we kicked in our share of the money as well. And here it is. It's here. But you know, it's a roundabout. Roundabouts, I think it's the third one here in town, and they're all over Southern California. And why would we set up a tent and have a celebration about a roundabout? It's because we're using it as an opportunity to celebrate a man that we all knew and loved very much. I first met Jack Williams in early 1991 or 92 at the store that was over there off of Jefferson, and I think for 2 or 3 years I called him Richie, okay? But he never had the, he never thought to correct me till I got to know him better. And one day he asked me to go horseback riding with him, and hey, do you know how to ride horses? Well, I sure do. And from then on we developed just a great relationship riding horses all over town. And, as you do when you develop relationships and you're on horses, you tend to have kind of a lot of time. Unless you're running the horses, you sort of move slow. And so we had a lot of time to talk, and good fellowship, good time. I find out that Jack was very much interested in basketball and found that he had a deep interest in basketball and coached when he was a younger man, and you folks lived out in the Torrance area. Well, lo and behold, we put 2 and 2 together, and I was playing at the time he was coaching, and we actually played against each other. Now he was a coach and I was a young knucklehead, but we started putting the pieces together, and we found out we had more in common and started mentioning the same names, the same coaches, the same time, even the same games, okay, that went to overtime. And so our relationship developed over the years. My son was born, and it's interesting. Maybe he was 10 days old, and first time out, where'd we take him? We took him to Richie's Diner, and serious, real story. And Jack came over, and there was my son, and Jack was just loving on him, at 10 days old, and it was all pretty cool. And most of you know, after a while, my son was diagnosed with autism, but it was very interesting because Jack never made any differentiation. In fact, he just, in so many ways, was so patient and embraced my son to the degree where he'd say, bring Liam over, we're going horseback riding, okay? And Liam would sit with his grandpa Jack, okay, and just be as comfortable as can be. And he was Grandpa Jack to my son. And Liam would say, let's go this way, or Jack would let him hold the reins. And it was really a time where they both bonded. And I'll never forget a time where we were getting ready to go ride, and we're saddling up the horses, and one of the horses did a pretty bad buck. And you might remember it tore Jack's hand up pretty good. I mean, you could see the tendons and all. He got it pretty bad. But at the time, he was more concerned about taking my son for a ride. And Mike, how are we going to explain this and whatever? No, let's do it. I said, Jack, you need to go to the hospital. We're not going riding today. And, he finally listened to me and came back with a big old cast on his hand. There's so many things we all could say about Jack Williams. The story I told you about my son never ended. He continued to be a grandpa. He'd literally ride his horse over to our house, and he would yell, Liam! And we'd hear him. We'd come out of the house, and he'd take Liam riding. That's just the type of grandpa he was, unsolicited. One day we show up at the diner, and like he does with everybody, I think that was an outlet for Jack to be the man that he is. He'd come sit down next to you and start talking you up and seeing how it's going. He'd remember everything about you all, what you were into, your children, where you did, how your job was going, everything. And one day he sits next to my son, and he's being grandpa like he normally is. Then he whips out this little management trainee badge with my son's name on it, okay? And it says here, Liam Nagar, management trainee. Now, how do you think of that? I mean, I didn't ask him to do it. He didn't know when he was going to see me, but he had it done. And he kept it with him until that time when he would have ran into my son. And that's the love that Jack Williams exhibited throughout Temecula. And that's why we all loved him. It was unsolicited, and it was everywhere that he went. So, we'll never forget him. He can't be forgotten no matter what we do. And even today, he represents a time in Temecula that we all remember years and years ago. He helped preserve it. I think his spirit's going to be here and help preserve it well into the future. This memorial, where am I? This memorial back there sort of helps solidify it, as does this day.
If you want to read, here's what it says on the plaque.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm going to read what it says on the plaque, because it'd be a little dangerous for all to go walk out there and read it. But if you have a go at it one day, please do. In memory of Jackie Williams, by the way, United States Marine, Mr. Jack Williams' desire to preserve the Los Ranchitos equestrian lifestyle carries on, along with his legacy of helping others, giving back to the community, and providing great advice to those who embraced hard work, honesty, and integrity. U.S. Marine Corps veteran, owner of Richie's Real American Diner, beloved Temecula resident with his wife Linda since the 1980s. So, I'll finish with this. I can guarantee you everybody here knows every verse to You Are My Sunshine. Okay? And Jack, you will always be our sunshine. God bless you.
All right, thank you, Mike. That was from the heart. Wanted to introduce a few other people here while we're here. I know you met Mary Ann, one of our council members, and another city council member is here, Zach Schwenk in the back. And then we've got our assistant city manager over here, Mr. Greg Butler. And now we've got a representative from the Los Ranchitos Homeowners Association. So Jeff Thomashefsky wanted to come up and say a few things.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. I am Jeff Thomashefsky. I represent Los Ranchitos. I'm currently serving as your volunteer president of our Los Ranchitos community, so I also would like to welcome everybody here. What I want to share with you today is this is the result of years of planning and work on behalf of Los Ranchitos individuals within our community, the Los Ranchitos HOA board, working with city staff, working with city council, planning, working with Gateway, who's been wonderful in all of this. Of course, we have the Gateway project there. This is part of some of the traffic mitigation as a result of some of Gateway's perhaps increased traffic in the area. I just want to thank Gateway for going above and beyond to close this in the end. We had a lot of challenges to get to where we are today. They've gone above and beyond. The City Council has been gracious in addressing our thoughts, our concerns with the plan of the roundabout. It was about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago that we found the statue here and thought that it would be a great donation to the city if we can incorporate it into the roundabout. The roundabout does a couple things for us. One, the statue there kind of preserves our community, our heritage here. The roundabout mitigates some traffic and concerns for the city. And it allows us to memorialize Jack Williams. That's a thought we had, as well as the horse trails here within Los Ranchitos. Everything Mike Nagar says I can attest to. Jack is a dear friend, a dear neighbor. Linda, thank you. We want to recognize Jack. We want to memorialize him with the statue, with our horse trails. What a perfect thing for Jack and Richie's Diner. We've shared so many meals. We've broken bread with Jack and Linda, individually thousands and thousands of times. But as a community, we also, Jack and Linda provided our cornbread and chili for our harvest rides and spring events year after year. So again, thank you for all of that. The last thing I'd like to say, and again, thanking city staff, thanking the city council, thanking the gateway, is community activism works in Temecula. Los Ranchitos, we stand up. We try to attend as many council meetings as possible. We're certainly there if there are issues that affect our small part of the entire community. But I think we have their ear. They listen to us. We work together. Everybody's really been wonderful. And this is just a testament to the results of community activism and working within the parameters that we have here in Temecula. What a great community. Thank you very, very much.
I also wanted to recognize one other individual from the Homeowners Association who was very involved in acquiring the statue here, also Neil Ziff from Los Ranchitos. So he couldn't be here this morning, but wanted to recognize Neil. So now we'd like to have the family, Jack's family, so Linda and Sally Myers, if you could come up and make a few comments.
They need these glasses. Sun's a little bright. Yes, there you are. This is so exciting. I can't tell you. Jack would be the most, as one of you said, Jack would be the most excited person here. Jack gets so excited over so many things, and horses and horse riding was one of the joys he had, and a big thank you to the homeowners and the city for this beautiful tribute to him, because it's something that we will all remember. Interesting thing, and it's almost in my back door over here. My house is on the corner right here. So I will be going through, I've been going through it, but we've been going really fast back and forth. And so somehow or other people are going to have to learn to yield. But anyway, but it is exciting for our family. And for me personally, it was always Jack going off on the horse, and sometimes I didn't know it. He'd get up and leave before I knew it. But he loved horses, loved to be with the grandchildren and so forth. And unfortunately, I only had about 3 experiences with horses, and one was in Hawaii. When you're going to go over to the leprosy colony, you get on these horses to go, and I was on a horse that was supposed to have been trained. Come to find out, it was his second ride. So I get on this, it was actually a mule. So I get on the mule, and as soon as that mule saw he had a straightaway, he took off with me, past everybody else, and we came to a stop right at the cliff edge. Now, we both stayed together, fortunately. But when I came back up, the guys had tightened so I could pull the reins and the horse would stop. But I was ready for him when he took off out of that gate, and he tried. But and my 2 other experiences weren't so good either. So just to tell you, I was happy for Jack to ride the horses, and I did my bicycling, and life went on with us. But for our family, for our grandchildren, all of our kids loved everything that he could do with them, with all this wonderful horse riding. And you know, the wonderful thing about Temecula is it's still hometown America. And that's because of our city fathers and mothers who have made it that way. And if I were coming into this community, I would certainly pick Temecula, because it's so much fun. Being in the diners, talking to so many people, you hear about what's going on in the city and everywhere. And talking about Rich, calling him Richie, every once in a while somebody comes in, they weren't totally happy with their food, or they didn't like this, or they say, I know Richie. And so, and that seemed to make it okay with the customer. But my wonderful servers and staff are always glad to tell them, that's nice. I'm glad you knew Richie. But anyway, but Richie's Diner has been a great joy, and it's certainly a great joy to me. I've been doing this for 27 years out of the 28 years. And I will tell you, you meet the most wonderful people who come into Richie's, who are not only members of this community, but when they come in, they talk about Temecula, and they're happy to get settled here. So it's just a joy for all of us and our family. And so I will turn this over to Sally and Miss Sizzler right here. There you go.
Mom, no, you're still up here. You're still up here. One of the things that we wanted to do, you saw that we were honored today by our horsewomen of the Temecula wine country, and they are going to the Rose Parade, as you heard. And so we wanted to make sure that y'all know that we were providing a contribution to your Rose Parade from Richie's Diner and from Sizzler. So we love you all and thank you so much for everything you do in town, being there at our parades and always representing us with such patriotism as well. God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
And when I thought this morning about my father, I thought, today is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And that is exactly the spirit of my father, and he does adore you all so much. Many of the kids and grandkids shared absolutely precious, precious times with my father, and I truly believe from the stories that I've heard from them that my father made the trails in Temecula, the rolling hill trails of Temecula, come alive. And so our grandchildren and some of the great grandkids wanted to share a little bit about how those trails came alive to them. So if y'all are going to speak, go ahead and come on up now. And we'd love to have y'all up here. Don't be shy. And they're going to share from their heart as well.
I don't want to.
And say who you are so they know.
My name is Ashley Williams, and I am number 4 grandchild. Sorry, I don't know. We're gonna cry it out because I'm going first. Sally called me on Saturday. I was at Home Goods, the store where you get nothing that you need. You can come, Mama. Come here. It's okay. She can come. This is my daughter, Lizzie.
There we go.
It's okay, you're right here. Okay. Shh. So Sally called me on Saturday and she said, do you want to say something? And I was like, well, I'm going to cry, and I'm the one who always falls off the horses. Bryce knows that very well. He's had to rescue me a couple times after the 4th of July parades. One moment in particularly, riding with Diddy. That's what we called our grandfather. And there was just one day, and we bucked. I bucked hard. I've been falling off since I was 2. I didn't want to get back on, and he told me I fell in dirt, and he said, this is your cowgirl glitter. And I will never forget it. And he said, if you're not going to the hospital, you're getting back on the horse. I kicked and I screamed, and I was probably 10, and I still had temper tantrums. I did not want to do it. But one thing we learned from riding horses is when you're little, you fall, and you fall so hard. And you look up at the horse, and it's so big. And Diddy taught us that you can believe in a greater power, something that's so much bigger than you, Jesus. You will get back up, and you'll go strong. And he's always with us, and we're going to ride hard. And Diddy loved big, and he lived loud, and he loved everybody. So, thank you.
Hi, my name is Brenna Myers. 3rd, I think. We were really blessed to grow up with a man who had a love for horses and hospitality. Horses played a huge role in my life as a child. We would go out trail riding here for hours, sometimes creating our own trails wherever we wanted to go. We would go up to the tops of the hills, down to the valleys, just experiencing a part of Temecula that most people wouldn't be able to experience on a daily basis, as well as taking random trips through the burger joint, through the drive-thru, making sure we stayed fueled for the rest of the ride. Some of my fondest memories with my grandpa are riding horses in the Christmas parade and the 4th of July parade. The one story he always told, no matter who I was with, friends, family, was the one time my horse pooped in front of all of my friends in middle school. We were standing in front of our marching band, and my horse pooped, and he just thought it was the funniest thing, and I was so embarrassed, of course, as a middle schooler, but he would tell it to for a very long time, and his laugh would just take over during the whole story because he thought it was just the funniest moment of my life. Horses were definitely a way to feel freedom and and a kind of an escape from everyday busyness of life. It was a way to experience the world around us without being in the world and have a little bit of an escape. Galloping through the trails with the wind on your face and not even a care in the world. He really knew how to intentionally create these moments with his grandkids, and we will forever be grateful. This statue will be a constant reminder of his love for horses and his love for life. We will continue to miss him, but our anchor holds fast to the truth that better is one day in heaven than 1,000 elsewhere.
Wow, I did not come prepared like that. I was supposed to share a few horseback riding stories on the trails in Temecula. Instead, my family's just giving out such fresh inspiration, which is awesome. I'm Bryce Myers, Jack's oldest grandson, and I remember as a little kid when we lived in Torrance and he had the ranch out here, he would come for Christmas, and we would always get a brown bag, and that brown bag was manure. So every year we got a bag of manure, I think until we finally moved out here, so it was probably a hint. But Diddy was awesome because he knew how to connect with people. He knew how to connect with his grandkids. He knew how to connect with his family. And riding the trails truly, as everyone has said, gave us time to invest in each one of us. Whether it was up in Duluth, and we had little John Deere tractors, and we'd post up over a big oak and a little creek, and we'd start playing with tractors at 4, 5, 6 years old, and he was in there with you playing, forgetting about everything else, that he was a grown man, that he had a job and responsibilities, but he would invest his time with you. I think that was the sweetest thing. And he would do the same thing with my kids, and I know with my cousins, who many are much younger, and we asked him to come out to Linfield one day for my son in kindergarten. It was the letter of the week was H. And so we had the idea to bring the horses out. And so he did. We had the entire kindergarten class come out, and my son was up there with so much pride and joy, experiencing the letter H, where it really came alive. And then just the times that we had roaming around town, like my sister said, whether it was through In-N-Out, through McDonald's, on a Christmas parade. And it's so funny to see the smiles and the cheer that would come from people when a big old large horse would show up. And of course, when we drop a few nuggets in the drive-thru. But we used to take trips through Temecula, through Marietta. We'd stop off at the local donut shops. We would stop off at the local taco shops, and we would grab a little bit of time just to share moments with each other, with the small businesses. I want to say when they first did the streets in Old Town, that they were done with wood so that we could ride horses down and not slip, because my grandfather had a time where he slipped on one of the sewer plates and took a spill and broke an arm or hand there too. So it's just amazing to see the way that this community has come together. I love the picture of the statue behind me. Been in that position many times, fortunately never fallen off. But like Ashley said, he would have told you to get back up again, and if you don't now, you'll never do it the rest of your life. So it wasn't that it gets easier, it's just that you get used to coming up against the adversity and pressing onward and staying the course. So I see this, and I recognize Diddy. I always said one day he'd hop on the horse and he probably wouldn't come back, and that's how he would have wanted it, rather than how it did happen. But I see it now. He's pointing towards Jesus, and he's headed out. And so it gives me a great joy to see that. So thank you very much for the dedication today.
Hi, everyone. I'm also one of Jack's grandkids. I just wanted to say thank you to the city of Temecula and everyone else who's involved in this. This is really awesome to be able to see this. I know every time I drive by it, I'm going to think of him. And Mike, what you said about Jack was right on. He really spent a lot of time to actually get to know people. I'd say that for the most part, what Jack has taught me really came to light and fruition after he passed. I really started to see all the things that he did on a daily basis that really connected with people. And I really started to see how much that really meant to him. He was a busy man. He ran these restaurants. He had a lot going on. He was involved in different community aspects. Very busy guy. And then to be able to spend the time with all of these different people is the biggest thing that he really showed me, is he took the time out of his day and truly cared. And for most of us, that's something that we all try to do. And I think he really got it down, and he was able to do it right. And the impact that he made from being able to do that, taking the time out of his day, it made him very happy. It brought him peace, and I think that made, that brought him fulfillment. And then to everyone else, that brought a lot of he was able to influence all of us in a great way. So I just wanted to say that, and thank you all for being here today.
There's a saying that is, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And my father cared for his family. He cared for his community and everyone around him. And thank you all again so much for the city of Temecula, Los Ranchitos, and our wonderful community over here, the Gateway Center, and our equestrian ladies. We greatly appreciate from the bottom of our heart and our family. God bless you all. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Sally, Linda, and family. Those were some wonderful sayings about Jack. Okay, we're going to cut a ribbon in just a minute here and actually open this road up, and we are actually going to open up La Paz Road. So I know the folks that live on Vallejo are going to appreciate that because everybody's been driving on Vallejo. So, but before that, I just wanted to, and this is coming from the engineer in me, I just wanted to give you a couple of tips on driving through the roundabout. And I know Linda said that she's been driving fast, but my first tip is go slow. So remember, when going through the roundabout, go slow. And my second tip is look to your left, because you always got to yield to the vehicles on your left, no matter which direction you're coming from. So just remember that. Go slow, look to your left, and you'll be fine. Just wanted to recognize a couple of other people who were involved in the project, the construction of this. So Chris White was our project manager in the Public Works Department, Ryan Castillo, our Public Works inspector, and Hillcrest Contracting was the contractor that built this project. And I'd also like to shout out to Dawn Adamiak and her team for staging this event, for bringing us all here. So now we're going to cut a ribbon. So if we could ask the mayor and council members and the Williams family to come up and be involved in this ribbon cutting.